Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm discussing why I shoot literally all of my photos, like every single one of them, underexposed. So if you enjoy this video, please subscribe to this channel and give it that thumbs up if you don't mind doing that. Now, let's talk about the content of this video. So firstly, I just want to say that, there's many different photography styles, and as you are developing your style and, getting stuff for your needs as a photographer, everybody's going to be different, and so this is just my opinion, and this is how I like to do things. It doesn't necessarily mean it's wrong or right, especially considering we have so much flexibility in post that many photographers didn't have when we were in, say, the film days. Of course, I know there was a little bit of flexibility, but definitely not like what we have today. So if you look around you, many times you're going to be in difficult lighting situations. And if you don't have a handle on how to expose for proper lighting and all that type of stuff, you may want to check out some more videos on that. And in fact, I'm going to be doing a video on proper exposure in the near future. So if you're subscribed, please check that out. But anyway, so what happens is let's say you're going to a shoot or whatever. Let's say you're doing an outdoor wedding, right? And you have a beautiful blue sky and all that type of stuff, but you're under some trees and you got this terrible, this speckly look from the leaves and everything. It just looks terrible, right? Lighting wise. In that situation, do you expose for the highlights or do you expose for the shadows? Now, there's a lot of debate among, photographers. Do you expose for the highlights or the shadows? I'll tell you what I do. I expose for the shadows, and here's why. With modern digital cameras, oftentimes you're going to find that you can pull a lot back from the shadows in post compared to the highlights. Usually, if you have totally just killed your highlights on your histogram, it's done, right? You're pretty much done. Now, you can do that with your shadows as well, but usually it's much easier to recover your shadows and compared to your highlights. So a lot of people are probably asking at this point, well, why the heck don't I use like a gradient filter or an ND filter or a polarizing filter? Well, here's the thing. Number one, I don't like glass in front of my glass. So that kind of sounds weird and kind of stupid, but let me explain that a little bit more. So I've used filters before. And, unless you have a lot of money to dish out on really, beautiful and well-made filters, you could definitely see some problems in your image quality after taking photos. Now, I, for instance, had a polarizing filter that I put on my lens, and basically what happened was I took the photo. It looked great. I had these very vibrant colors. The sky was blue. The shadows, they looked wonderful. I went into post. The edges of the image were completely out of focus, unusable. And I wasn't going to crop it in because, that's what I wanted my image to look like, that wide and, how it was. So yeah, it was completely unusable. And part of that was because the filter was not that great. It was a cheap filter. So if you're into filters, you need to invest in high quality filters. But for me, filters really aren't a part of my style, so I don't really invest a lot of money into them. Secondly, I kind of like the post work. Now, back in the film days, people really didn't have much flexibility. There was a few things you could do when you were making exposures and all that, but, now in this day and age, cameras are so well designed and so well, with the dynamic range of what's, in the image. And dynamic range basically means the difference between the highlights and the shadows, right? And so I believe the Nikon D750 has 12 stops or 14 stops of dynamic range, which is awesome, and it works really well. And so the better dynamic range number you have, the better you're going to be able to pull back the highlights and bring up the shadows. For me though, like I said, I expose for those shadows, and I actually enjoy doing that in post. It's kind of fun to, mess around and see what you can do with them. Now, I'm going to show you an image I took a little while back. This was probably 2 or 3 weeks ago. So you're looking at the original image right now. It's a raw image, and basically what you're seeing is this image without any touch-ups. As you can see, I have exposed for the highlights. So you can see the clouds, you can see a little bit of the sun flaring in the background, all of that type of stuff. Now, here is the edited version, and you're looking at it going, whoa, wait a minute, that's a major difference. You see I brought up the shadows in the foreground so you can see kind of the corn or soybeans or whatever it was, and it just looks really nice, right? Well, I expose for the highlights, and so that's why, in my opinion, it's so important to expose for your highlights compared to your shadows. because as I said, you usually have an easier time bringing up your shadows and a harder time bringing down your highlights if, say, you overexpose them or whatever. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching this video. I hope you were able to get something out of this, and just stay with this channel, keep watching, and I hope you're enjoying the content. If you have any suggestions, anything you want me to do on this channel, just put them in the comments below. And as I said earlier, hit that subscribe button for more content like this. Thanks for watching, and Bilingual out.